Alright, this is my first repair video, which is kind of weird since I'm always taking crap apart, but I figured I should share this with people because it's a common problem and I literally can't find any information on it anywhere. The part is GM12-AUXV2. You can find it on Amazon, eBay. It's like $80, I think. That's what I paid for it. If you're watching this video, I assume you know what it is, but if you don't, it allows you to have an auxiliary in on your stock stereo system, as the GM describes for GM vehicles. I bought mine for an 03 Cavalier. Works perfectly. Well, it did, but figured out how to fix it. So, I'm sure you've taken it apart before if you've installed it, because you have to adjust the between the changer and the XM. Let's see if we can get this to focus. Your board will look like this, minus that capacitor. Your capacitor is going to be smaller. That's what I thought was the problem originally. That's one problem. I guess capacitors are a fairly common fault with these. If your module doesn't power on at all, if you get nothing out of it, try the capacitor. Preferably get another surface mount capacitor. I turned a through-hole capacitor into a surface mount. Not recommended, but it works. The problem that I was experiencing is the left channel. I guess it varies. It's either the left or right channel. Some people have problems with the right channel. Mine was the left. What happens is there's a popping noise, or it gets really quiet. You can't hear the left channel. It's just like a screeching noise coming from it. Well, what's going on is this right here is an amplifier, and something's going on that's causing it to short out. And you can get these things off of eBay. You can get 10 of them for $5. They're pretty cheap. The model number, if you can't read it on there, it's TL062C. The 62CDRs are also the same component. But, guess what? You aren't going to have to buy a component, because if you're looking at your board right now, you'll notice that this one right here is on yours, but not on mine. The reason for that is because these two components are the exact same. So what you're going to do is just swap them. As simple as that. I don't know, I'm trying to make it complicated. You can tell which direction they need to go because there is, you can't really see it, there's a slope on one side, and that top corner needs to be facing this direction, alright? Where the slope is, I mean, you can look at it, just don't get them mixed up. You'll be fine. I don't know if you have experience with replacing these things. I use a hot air gun, but you can also get cheaper hot air guns. There's I don't know, probably for $30 you can get one that looks like a hair dryer. It works. Don't use an actual hair dryer, that's not going to work too well. But take your hot air gun and get some flux. My flux I got off eBay for $3. It's no clean flux. Definitely get no clean flux. I don't know, I just have really good luck with no clean. And that's really all you can find anyways. Just don't cheap out too much. You can also get them probably at your local store. Radio Shack might sell flux. Some places you can actually get flux pins, which are the best, but they're overpriced. So, take your component and go ahead and just swap them. What's going on is one's used for the CD changer and one's used for XM. I can't remember, I haven't had this in my car for a while, and I've definitely messed with this, so I can't remember which one mine was. So just take them, remove them both, and swap them, okay? They're both going to be facing the same direction. Soak them with flux and heat them up. And as soon as you see that flux start to flow, or I'm sorry, the solder start to flow, take some tweezers and lift it up and you should leave, if you waited long enough, if it was hot enough, the solder should stay behind on the board. And just remove both of them, swap them, to solder them back down, set it on top of the solder points. Again, soak it in flux. Flux isn't conductive, you're not going to hurt anything. Heat it. Be careful not to blow the component away, they're pretty lightweight. And as soon as you see that solder start to flow, tap on the top of it gently. Don't get it too hot, don't tap too hard. And the solder should surround the pins. And if you look at your pins, here's my solder job. If you look at your pins, they should all be connected to the board. You shouldn't have any gaps or anything like that. Make sure you don't have any solder bridges, meaning make sure two pins aren't soldered together. That could lead to more problems. And when you're heating your board, there's not really anything you need to worry a whole lot about. As you can see, I got this a little too hot, melted a little bit. Try not to do that. Also, the inside of these guys are plastic. Try not to melt those. This is obviously plastic, don't melt that. One thing you might not think about is capacitors. Like I said, your capacitor is going to be smaller than that, but still a capacitor. And with heat, it will damage them, and sometimes they'll actually explode or they'll pop and spew like acid crap. So don't get your capacitor hot. Keep the heat over in this direction, and you should be fine. Anything that I'm missing? I think that covers everything. So yeah, just swap those two components, make sure they're facing the same direction. Don't get them too hot. Just hot enough to solder them down, and should work. Worked for me. And if you end up destroying both of them, you can get the amplifiers on eBay pretty cheap. So thanks for watching, and if I was able to help you out, please like my video. Thanks a lot.